Hey, good morning, class. How are you all? Let us continue with our programming concepts and let us learn more about how do we write algorithm and also the flowchart. So let us get started. See, until our last class, we understood about program. Also, how to chart down the procedures, right? How should we chart down a procedure for the problem? In last class, we saw that if we have any problem or if we want to do any task, so first, what do? We plan, right? We plan how to solve this problem. Everything we keep it in a step by step. First, what need to be solved. Second, what need to be solved. Third steps, fourth steps. We also saw the steps to prepare of the tea, right? Also, we learned that algorithm, the word called algorithm. So algorithm is a process of solving a problems step by step in a sequential manner, right? So algorithm, the method or the process which we use to solve a problem. And what is that procedure? To keep the solutions step by step in a sequence manner. So what do we call for this? We call this as algorithm. Now, how to write an algorithm? See, whenever we are writing the other day even I showed you the flow chart also, right? Images of that. So here those flowcharts are written into step by step first. So whenever we are writing an algorithm, there are a few points to be kept in the mind. That is, always the algorithm has to start with a start and finish with a stop, right? Whenever we are writing any program, it has to have a start and stop. I'll just do one thing. I'll just take a notepad also over here. Let me take a bigger one. Okay, this is my notepad. So every time, see, imagine I want to do addition of two numbers, okay? So I have to say, write, take the two numbers A equal to 10, B equals to 20, C equals to A plus B, result will be display C. This is my program. So you are supposed to take two numbers wherein A is equal to B 10, B is equal to 20, and then do C is equal to A plus B. Whatever result is there, display C. I'll just say this is as display C. Okay, this is my simple calculation. So I'll just say this as step 1, step 2, step 3, and step 4. Correct? So these are the four. In these 4 steps, we do our programming. Correct? This is for adding two numbers. But this is not correct. For an algorithm, the step 1 should always be start. And rest will come as step 2, 3, 4. Now this will become your step 2, this will become your step 3, this will become your 4, and this one as 5th. And this is not the end. At the end, you are supposed to do step 6 as stop. Why? Because see, whenever we are starting a machine, right? Computer is a machine, right? So whenever we are starting a machine or asking a machine to do something, first we have to let the machine start. So we have to tell the instruction start. So when we say start, computer understand that there is a task coming which the computer has to do it. And if you do not say stop, it will keep on doing this addition again and again repeatedly. So for that, you need to tell the computer to stop where it has to stop. So there should be always a start and there should be always a stop. Give line number to each instructions. See here, we gave line number, right? We gave step 1 to start, step 2 to 8 is equal to 10, b is equal to 20, we gave it as step 3. So every step has to be given some number. Write each instruction in a separate line. Did I write it like this? A is equal to 10, b is equals to 20. Did I write both the things in a single line? No. I've written each instructions in different lines, right? A equals to 10, B equals to 20, C equals to A plus B. Everything is to be written in different lines. Function of each statement should be very clear. So if I just say A equals and I just leave it without any number or without any, how will a computer understand what A is equals to? So everything should be clear. If I just say, if I don't write the step, I'll just say A plus B. Computer will understand that I have to add A plus B, but where it has to put it, it has to put it in C, right? So that if I don't mention C, it will just not be able to display the answer, right? So for that, you should be careful of all these instructions. See, for example, algorithm to find the sum of two numbers, read the two numbers n1, n2, start, read the numbers, result is equal to n1 plus s2, display the result, stop. Simple as such. Flowcharts are diagrammatic representations of algorithm steps used to solve a problem. To create a flowchart, some standard symbols are used, wherein each symbol represents a specific type of. See, whatever we have written until now as algorithm, those steps now we are supposed to put it in flowchart. In my previous video, I've already shown how a flowchart looks like. So every symbol in some shapes, the instructions are being written. Correct? To create a flowchart, some standard symbols are used where each symbol represents a specific type of operation. So these symbols are connected with each other by solid lines with arrow marks called as flow lines. And I'll just show you here. So imagine I have to take this one. So my flow chart will look like something like this. Right? So these shapes which I'm talking about, in one instructions we do right here. Like here I'm writing start. So always it has to start with the start, right? Yes. And these particular things are called as flow lines. Bear with my handwriting here. It is very horrible. Flow lines, right? So flowcharts are diagrammatic representation of algorithm steps used to solve a problem. To create a flowchart, some standard symbols are used where each symbol represents a specific type of operation. See, the word start, it has to be in a specific shape. Addition, wherever we are doing addition, that should be in separate box. Taking the numbers in separate box. Result should be given in separate box, right? So these standard symbols are used for certain different steps. So these symbols are connected with each other by solid lines. So these are solid lines. Can you see here? I'm again drawing one more for flow chart. Then we'll also do like this now. These types of lines are called as flow lines. Now let us understand what are the different types of symbols present with us. Yes, this oval shape. See here for start I took an oval shape, right? So oval shape boxes are used as terminal boxes. So they are called as terminal boxes. Terminals are the end points, start and end points. So always these boxes, always your start and stop should be written in the terminal boxes. Also called as start and stop box, used to indicate beginning and end of. Okay. Okay.
Icons और नाम
That's it. कनिष्का कल आके दे देना, आज नहीं हो पाएगा, ठीक है? आज स्कूल में इंस्पेक्शन के लिए आ रहे हैं, दैट्स व्हाई आई मैसेज आल्सो टुमारो करके। अच्छा, कौन लेने आया था ड्राइंग बुक? वो आज उनको कुछ ड्राइंग डिस्प्ले करना था, इसीलिए बुलाया। मैं करेक्शंस के लिए कल ही। अच्छा, तुमको भी बोला था उसने? मेरे को लगा मैंने उसको नोट्स मंगवाए हैं कल, तो कंप्यूटर उसने मैसेज वही डाला है आज। हम्म। कोई बात नहीं। मेरे को लगा वो मैं नोट्स जो मेरे को उसने मैसेज वही किया था, मैम शैल आई कम टू गिव कंप्यूटर बुक। बच्चों को मत भेजा, चुप्पी, वो मैडम चिल्लाती है। या उसको मेरे को घर पे भेजने बोल, कोई दिक्कत नहीं, वो आए करके नहीं, मुझे बस सबमिशन चाहिए इसे। ठीक है, ठीक है, ओके। So these starts are these oval shaped boxes are the terminal boxes, also called as start and stop box. So all your start and all your stops should always be put into the oval shaped terminal boxes, okay, to indicate beginning and the end of the flow. See, if I just close this particular thing, I'm just going to take this one. If I just close it with this box only, I should be able to tell, I'll put one more, okay. Just draw one. So see, now when I draw this particular thing, with it looking at the shape only, you should be able to tell this shape boxes is called as terminal box, plus this is the box which we use it for starts and stops. Input and output boxes. So what this type of boxes are used to put some information inside the system or to get the result outside. See, now we'll take our example. Here, what are the inputs? We are putting the information to the computer as A is equal to 10, we are telling the computer. B is equal to 20 is also what we are telling to the computer. Are we telling the computer here do anything? No. Here we are telling the computer to do calculation. And this particular step of C is equal to A plus B, computer will do by itself. So anywhere where we are putting some data, and now this display C. So here is what the computer is giving the output to us. So the inputs are A is equal to 10, B is equal to 20. Output will be the result of C. These particular informations should always be kept in this type of diagonal boxes. Okay, so the shape of this symbol or box is like a parallelogram, correct? It contains instructions which are used to read or write the information. Whenever computer has to read some information or it has to display some result, write the information. All these particular input and output operations of any of the problem should always be put into this input output box. So this particular parallelogram box is called as input output box. Now let us go towards the next one. Process boxes. A perfect rectangular shape, right? The other one was parallelogram. This is a proper rectangular shape box. So any type of arithmetical logical operations performed by the computer are represented in this box. It is a rectangular shaped box which denotes computation instructions. Now here, this C is equal to A plus B. This particular operation of addition. What is the operation happening over here? Mathematical operation, it is addition happening over here. So this particular addition or any maybe addition, maybe multiplication, divisions, all these types of calculative instructions should be kept into the process box. So looking at this box only, we will be able to understand saying that this particular box belongs to some procedural steps being done. So performed by the computers are represented in this particular box, and this is a proper rectangular shaped box. Now the next one is like a diamond shaped box, correct? So this diamond shaped box represents conditional operations for checking or applying any condition in the program. Now when we say a condition, what do I mean is, if like an example of greater than or smaller, of a greater than or a smaller, whenever we are doing this kind of problem solutions in the mathematics stuff, saying that this particular number is greater than that particular number, or is it equal to, not equal to, such kind of problems wherein there is some decision happening. In those kind of decision happening statements, we use this particular thing called decision box. I repeat, it is a diamond shaped box used to represent the conditional operations for checking or applying any condition in the program. Like I'll take one more example. True or false? Yes. Sometimes we act upon a problem as per the condition. If it is true, the next step is to be followed. If it is false, the other step is supposed to be followed. So such kind of decisions, the if conditions, we put it as in the decision box. For example, if your parents ask you to go, your parents give you a task of going to market and getting some groceries, right? So there, what are you supposed to do? Your mother is going to, what will be the input? Your mother is going to give you a bag of, a bag to carry all the groceries and money, correct? This is your inputs. So where your inputs will be coming in? Your inputs will be in this parallelogram box, correct? And then your way to go to the grocery, the procedure which you follow to go to the grocery, you will get out of your house, travel to a distance, and then reach to the grocery shop and do all the purchasing. So this procedure will come into the process box. Now, where does this decision box comes? The decision box comes is, let's take the same example. In that we'll put one condition. You will put a condition to your mother saying that if you're ready to give me extra money to buy some chocolates with the grocery, then only I'm going to go. Correct? So you're putting a condition to your mother saying that, mommy, if you give me some extra money, then I will go. Otherwise, I am not going to go. So if yes, then you are coming out of your house and going to the grocery. If no, you're not coming out of your house. You're not going for buying the grocery. Such kind of if conditions will always come in this decision box. So here is what the computer takes a decision as per the conditions given. So these kind of boxes are in diamond shaped. Now next one is connector. The circle shaped symbol is called connector. It is used to connect the flow chart from one page to another or to connect two parts of the flow chart. Now this try to display to you. Sometimes we have to do some steps repeatedly, correct? Sometimes it might happen you have to do the same steps again and again for different set of numbers, right? The circle. So what happens is, imagine you are doing some two different programs, but these two different programs are interdependent on each other. Yes, like I'll take an example over here. You can see that stop. Here we are writing some if condition. If yes, if no, if your decision of this particular box is no, then stop the program there here only. If your condition is yes, then you are going to get connected to the another set of program. So how are we doing these connections? We just cannot directly connect the flow charts from one page to another, or one flow chart to another flow chart, or repeated loops just with a flow line. So here comes your connector. So here you're supposed to put a circle. This is not an oval shape, it is a circle. So this, with the help of this connectors only, you can connect the two different programs, two different flow charts with each other. And note children, connector is used in flowchart always in pairs. It's not a single line. And also the next one, flow lines, which I've already explained. The different boxes of flow charts are connected with flow lines. These are the direction arrows used to put all the steps in. So it shows, like, see, all the arrows are towards down mark, right? This is to connect. If at all you want, you have to go for some steps upward. So like this. So these arrow marks, 4 different side arrow marks are called as flow line. This shows that how your information is going. Is it going downwards, sidewards, upwards, back again? I hope we are clear. Yes. So now let's just see how to create a flow chart. To create a flow chart, first categorize the steps of algorithm as input, process, or output statements. So whenever, see, every time you write a flow chart, make sure you prepare an algorithm, step-by-step instructions properly. Then in those steps, you just categorize which step is an input step. I'll just take this our notepad back again. So what is this start for us? Start is the terminal one, correct? A is equal to 10. What is it? What are we doing? We are putting some information to the system. So this will become your input box, correct? Now here is what happening. Here we are doing some calculation, some procedure we are doing. What is that procedure? We are adding A plus B and we are putting it as C. So here is some process happening. So this happens into process box. Now this is the result, display C. We are, after the calculation, we want to see what is the result. And that is C. We want to display the answer of C. So this is output, correct? Final output. And this is again our terminal box. This way, you should always categorize your steps and accordingly, you can place your instructions into your flow charts. Now, let us take this example of adding 2 numbers. So first is your start, which is your terminal box. Read 2 numbers, N1 and N2. So we are asking the computer to read 2 numbers, N1 and N2. Read the 2 numbers, N1 and N2. Result is equal to N1 plus N2. So this is process. Yes, the process of addition happens over here. Display the result. Why? Result because N1 and N2 are getting added and where are they going to get in the values? Here in result. So result is equal to display the result. So what are we doing? Display the result is the output. And stop. See, now we are presenting this particular algorithm into flowchart. Start is at the terminal box. Input is in input box. Read N1 and N2. Process sum is equal to N plus N2. You can write it as a result is equal to N plus N2 or sum. So whatever name you're giving over here, that only should be displayed. Now here we are doing display sum. We are not writing this whole sentence. We are just writing crisp and clear. Display sum again in the parallelogram, and at the end of the day, at the end of the program, it is stop. And all the flow lines are coming to the downward mark. This is how you write a flow chart. Let us see one more big example. Start here, down flow. Now read 2 numbers, read N1 and N2. Compare the 2 numbers. Yes, here we are having the decision box. Okay, compare the 2 numbers and give the result. Stop. What are we doing? Which is the bigger out of 2? Which is the greater number? So what did we do? Start, read N1 and N2. There are 2 numbers. They are N1 and N2. Now compare. If N1 and N2, if N1 is greater than N2, what are you supposed to write the answer? If yes, then print N2 is, if yes, print N1 is the greater one. If not, I'll just do it for you here. Let us just erase this one. Yes. So what did we do? This is terminal box. So what are we doing here? Start. And now again here. So we are going to give 2 numbers. So it is N1 and N2. Then come down. Now the conditions. So conditions are always in the diamond box. If N1 is greater than N2, if the condition is yes, what are the output? The output again should come into a parallelogram. Print N1 is greater. If not, if the answer is no, so who will be the greater one? N1, if N1 is not greater than N2, then who is the greater one? N2 will be the greater one. So it will be print N2. And finally stop. And is the stop for only for N1? No, the stop should be both for N1 and N2. So I am going to stop this one also, and it will be connected to this one also. So here, I hope you understood with this example how we use this decision box. If N1 is greater than N2, if yes, the answer is true, then print N1. If no, print it as N2. Yes. Now let us take one more example quickly for today's video. To find the speed of a car. First step, always start, read the distance traveled. To know the speed of the car, what do we need to do? What are the inputs we need? How much distance the car has traveled and how much time it has traveled. Like for example, if we are going from Chittapur to Gulbarga, okay. So from Chittapur to Gulbarga, how much is the distance? Let's take an example as 50 kilometers. How much time did we take from Chittapur to Gulbarga to reach from here to there? Approximately 60 minutes. Yes. So with this, we can calculate the speed of the car. How do we calculate? The formula for calculating the speed of any vehicle? It is speed is equal to distance traveled by the time taken. So now here it is. Our program will be start, read the distance traveled, read the time taken. Step 4, calculate the speed as distance divided by time, and then display the speed, and we are stopping over there. Now here, these things we will put it in the flow chart. You can see over here, start in the terminal box. In the parallelogram, we are putting read the distance. Is it only one input there? No. Distance is the one input, and time taken is also an input. That's why both these things are into the same box, parallelogram. Just read the distance, read the time. Now the process has to happen. What is the process? To calculate the speed, the calculation stuff. Speed is equal to distance by time. So once the speed is been calculated, it has to display, right? So the display of the speed happens on the, again in the parallelogram. So finally stop. I hope this is clear. This is how we put across the algorithms and the flow charts. Finally, let us just summarize what all we have learned until now. An algorithm is a step-by-step representation of a solution of a problem. Algorithm is written in simple English language, and it is always written step-by-step neatly. Each algorithm or a flowchart should have a start and a stop. Yes. And then every step of an algorithm should be numbered, and it should be clear instructions in each steps. Flowchart is the pictorial representation of the sequence of steps, or in a simple language, flowchart is the pictorial representation of the algorithm of a particular problem. The set of instructions used to solve a problem is called program. So what is a program? Any set of instructions which we take or which we do to solve a problem is called a program. With this, we summarize our chapter, programming concepts. If there's any doubt, children, you can just contact me back. I'll explain you the topic again.